Hey all you coffee-loving investors, it's Ryan here. A lot of interesting news developments surrounding crypto this month, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Earlier this week, we saw crypto prices skyrocket as Bitcoin quickly rose from just under $27,000 to just under $30,000. The initial spike was prompted by crypto news site Cointelegraph jumping the gun and claiming on social media platform X that BlackRock's Bitcoin spot ETF had been approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, the post was quickly taken down once it was realized that the ETF had not actually been approved. Cointelegraph has since issued an apology to its readers regarding the circumstances that led to the posting of the unverified news. But I think it's rather interesting. You had Bitcoin shoot up on the rumors of a singular spot ETF approval, and it likely would have gone much higher had this news actually been real. I believe we got nothing more than a small taste of the true power of institutional adoption. In fact, that takes us right into our next big headline. The blockchain analytics firm CryptoQuant estimates that the approval of these Bitcoin spot ETFs could add an additional $1 trillion to the crypto market cap. And there are a lot of spot ETFs waiting to be approved between now and March of next year. Things continue to look more promising as the SEC is apparently starting to concede to the reality that they cannot stop cryptocurrency adoption. More on that later in the video. For perspective, the current market cap of all crypto sits right now at just over $1 trillion. And it crossed $3 trillion back in November 2021 during Bitcoin's all-time high. Many analysts believe that the approval of spot ETFs will trigger the next wave, and this week's spike potentially confirms that theory. There is always the possibility, though, that the news of approving Bitcoin spot ETFs are already priced in, which means that the price may not climb as high as some speculate. But according to CryptoQuant's report, even if the financial institutions that have applied for a Bitcoin spot ETF just put 1% of their assets under management into those ETFs, then Bitcoin could theoretically jump up to somewhere between $50,000 and $73,000. So even if the news ended up being fake, it's still a victory for crypto for now, because crypto can at least continue to trend upwards as anticipation for the approval of the ETF grows. We can see this now because even though the price of Bitcoin dropped sharply once the news was made out to be fake, it still continued to trend higher throughout the week, eventually crossing over $30,000. As I mentioned earlier, it's been a really strong week for cryptocurrency, and part of that reason has to do with the SEC starting to lose their war against digital assets. On Thursday, October 19th, the SEC announced that they would be dropping their lawsuit against the executives of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, dismissing all charges. Ripple effectively called it a surrender by the SEC, which further sent crypto prices to the upside, especially XRP, which is the native token of the Ripple network. So speaking of courts and the SEC, allow me to refresh your memory. Remember how the financial firm Grayscale filed to have their Bitcoin trust converted into a spot ETF, but the SEC rejected them without providing a valid reason? Then in late August, a District of Columbia Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against the SEC's rejection, essentially siding in favor of Grayscale and giving them the chance to have the SEC review their ETF application. The noteworthy part is this. Following the ruling of the court's decision, the SEC had a window of time in which they had a chance to pursue appealing the court's decision. But just recently, that window closed and the SEC has elected not to appeal the decision. Now, this further leads to the speculation that the SEC might be changing their direction on cryptocurrency, no matter how slight, as they will instead review the application instead of outright rejecting it. However, while it certainly does look promising, it should go without saying that this doesn't necessarily guarantee the approval of a Bitcoin spot ETF, as I'm sure the possibility exists for the SEC to come up with a reason to reject the application. The deadlines to decide on the Bitcoin ETF approval will most likely range from January 10th to mid-March of 2024, right before the next Bitcoin halving event. We will have to wait and see, as it's all eyes on the SEC. This hasn't stopped other prominent investors from voicing their optimism, though. The founder of ARK Invest, Cathie Wood, recently commented on how her firm has made progress with the SEC in light of their changing behavior. The CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, also commented, voicing how many of their clients across the globe are talking about the need for crypto. He further postulated that this recent rally this week represented an example of the pent-up interest in crypto. Now, he finished by saying that he believes the Bitcoin rally is about a fight to quality. Mr. Fink has a point. It has become clear in the years since 2009 that cryptocurrency adoption has steadily increased since then, despite the many setbacks. Last month, leaked documents from Microsoft revealed plans to incorporate Bitcoin software wallets into their future Xbox console. Whether this will actually happen remains to be seen, but it is interesting to see which companies start to slowly get off the sidelines and jump into the digital asset currency race. Now, just last week, the sports car company Ferrari announced that they would be accepting cryptocurrency payments for their cars that are sold in the United States. They also mentioned that they have plans to further extend this support to Europe, all in response to their demands from their wealthy customers. The chief marketing and commercial officer of Ferrari, Enrico Galliera, went on the record to explain that some of their clients are young investors who have built their fortunes around cryptocurrency, but others are also more traditional investors who want to diversify their portfolios. Mr. Galliera is exactly right. Crypto affects us all, young or old, and the more it catches on, there will always be a growing number of people who want in on it. It's okay not to like cryptocurrency, but it's another thing to shame others for investing in it. Meme coins are a different story, as those are the riskiest cryptos, but at the end of the day, people have that right to invest in whatever they want to. To sit there smugly and insist that crypto will never catch on reminds me of this poor soul. Scientist Clifford Stoll. In 1995, he infamously claimed during an interview that the internet had no future. He simply thought of it as nothing more than a passing fad, but today we obviously know how wrong he was. And this isn't to shame those who have differing opinions, but perhaps we would be wise to have more open minds when it comes to the possibilities of cryptocurrency. While we are on the topic of advocating for crypto, I also wanted to mention that crypto firms are working tirelessly to lobby Congress and have their voices heard. As the interest in cryptocurrency continues to grow, legislators on both sides of the aisle are coming together to figure out what policy will look like for digital assets. Crypto regulation is something that needs to be done with surgical precision because too much regulation defeats the point of crypto and stifles innovation, and too little, you don't get enough mainstream adoption. So regulating the space is a careful balancing act, but in the end, I remain hopeful and confident that there will be a solution. Lastly, I will leave you with this piece of advice. Follow the money. You've probably heard that saying at least once when receiving investment advice, and there's definitely truth to it. Doing the research to see where big money is flowing is a smart strategy, and if you have enough experience, you can even analyze data to invest to your advantage. There are a great number of tools out there that can help provide you with that data, such as websites like Santamant. I recommend checking out some of their material, as their insights even make it into some of the videos that I make. Well, that's all for this one, guys. I hope you learned something new today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. If you'd love to learn more, take a look at my previous video or browse through my playlist. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next one. This is Ryan, signing off.